Welcome to Ben and Kelly. It's Group Therapy on 99.7 DJX.
Yeah, I'll toss the phone number out real quick. If you're in a spot where you can chime in, maybe give you some advice, you can always call us, 502-571-9970. Kelly, you want to toss this one out?
Yep. The message said, my brother is engaged to a really wonderful woman. The problem is she shares my relatively common first name. It's a common enough name to the point that I'm used to being in groups with other people with the same name, and it generally doesn't bother me.
Gotcha.
But I've been surprised that it does bother me quite a bit to deal with this confusion in my family. So I've said jokingly a couple of times that we need to find a nickname for her, but she hasn't suggested one, and I would never nickname her against her will.
We should just call her Smelly Kelly.
Would it be okay to more seriously ask her if she would consider using a nickname within our family? Or should I assume that if she wanted to adopt a nickname, she would have already? If I did ask, I would only ask once and drop it if she didn't want a nickname.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but I can only imagine, like, when they're talking in the family, or if they're like organizing get-togethers or whatever, if there's two members in the family that have the same. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right. And
well, who's Jenny? Which Jenny?
Right. Which Jenny?
Yeah. So, I mean, I get that, but I think, I don't know. I feel like she already got her answer if she kind of approached it and then it wasn't taken seriously.
Well, Kelly, you went to school with a bunch of Kellys.
Oh, there were 5 Kellys in my first grade class. Fun fact, that's why I became Kelly K. We all had to use her last initials.
So maybe you just start saying Jenny R. Well, I guess it would be the same last name as...
Yeah, it's going to be the same last name.
Especially after she gets married.
Maybe, does she nickname herself? I mean, I get in her mind she's the OG, so she shouldn't have to change. But if it bothers her that much and it doesn't bother her brother's fiance, then maybe she needs to nickname herself.
Give herself the nickname?
Yes.
So I worked with a guy that nicknamed himself. And his name was Steve, and this isn't our boss, Steve, but Steve that I worked with a long time ago. And he was on the radio, and he started just walking around calling himself Steve-O. He was like, Steve-O! And he was like, and we all thought that was the weirdest thing in the world. So I don't know if nicknaming herself is the best option, but I
think if she says it in the context of, hey, just to cut down on confusion, since there's now 2 of us in the family, you call me this, and then, then she's got that name.
Maybe. So I want to hear if you have been in this situation and how you and your family handled it. 502-571-9970, group therapy. Her brother's fiance has the same name as her. It's confusing. It's also bothering her whenever the family mentions their names. So she's all like, hey, is it appropriate to ask her brother's fiance to adopt a nickname or go by something else?
Yeah, I tell you what, so many people, we have 86 comments in 1 hour on Facebook. So a lot of people are chiming in about this, but I don't see anyone that's saying, yes, it's totally appropriate to ask her to change her name. Everyone's saying this is a you thing. So it sounds like something that you need to deal with. Tiffany said, giving yourself a nickname reminds me of George from Seinfeld. Didn't he try to call himself T-Bone?
I don't remember.
I think that's what he went with.
Was it him?
Yeah, she says, I know many people who have more than one person with the same name in the family. Usually they use a middle name, like Brittany Marie and Brittany Lynn, for example.
Okay.
That's a really good idea. Emily said, my family is 3 different Ashleys. 3 of my cousins are dating, married to an Ashley. No one has a nickname. We just deal with it.
I bet this is one of those instances that our listener is hoping and wishing that Facebook had crashed again, because the comments are a bit brutal when it's hey, grow up. It's your problem. It's your problem. It's your problem. Now, Brittany chimes in and says, hey, comments are rough. All you need is validation that you're special and not being replaced. Embrace her. Eventually, this won't even matter. And I guess that's a good way to look at that. Now, Jonathan, you've dealt with this a lot.
So the situation that you mentioned, I went through all through school.
Okay.
There are 5 guys in my graduating class with the name of Jonathan. We all spelled them different.
Okay.
Basically, we started going by our last names, but in this situation, that really wouldn't work since they're going to have the last name.
So what would you suggest she do?
She just needs to kind of let it go, but when they start calling by the first name, start answering when she answers. Make the family be the one to be like, okay, listen, you're going to have to go by this, and you go by this. Because if she keeps answering, every time they say their first name and they both go, yes, like we did in school,
right?
The teacher or the parents or the family is going to be like, okay, listen, you're going to be thing 1, you're going to be thing 2 or something like that.
That's a good solution because it kind of takes it out of her hands and puts it on her family's.
Right.
Good thought, Jonathan. Thank you, bud.
Appreciate it.
Riley just sent us a text, said, no way, my sister's name is Erin, Erin. She married an Aaron, Aaron, and our new stepbrother is Aaron. Just go with it.
I love that. Samantha said, you could just get a nickname and avoid any possible weirdness. My brother and my significant other of 15 years share the same first and middle name, but it's never been an issue. And then, like Jonathan said, Melissa said, we have 4 Melissas at work. I am Melissa number 4 because I was the last to join the team.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to just gloss over the fact that she came to us because she's bothered by this, and it's like something that's causing her anxiety and a little bit of frustration over. And so, so for us to just be like, don't worry about it, I think it's a little bit.
It can be a little brutal in the comments section, but I think maybe if she just talks to maybe her parents and just kind of, be honest with her family, just like, hey, does this bother you? It seems like it's kind of confusing at times, and just maybe see if anybody else in the family has thought about it.
And you know what? I made fun of it earlier, but I like now the idea of just nicknaming yourself.
I know. I mean, this is an opportunity. And she can just do whatever she wants. And, go by her middle name or something.
You know what? Captain Underpants thinks it's okay. And start referring to her in the third person,
Yeah. She needs to name herself Captain Underpants.
What is it? A princess from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? What is it?
What is it? Was it a crawl?
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So hopefully this helped, and you can always dive into the comments. You can comment as well at Ben and Kelly Show.
But listen, they're not trying to be mean to you as a person. When they say get over it, they say it with gentleness in their voice.
Okay.
They say it in a loving way.
Sure. That is group therapy.